So you want to own your own business. You've likely put hours and hours of thought into your vision for your business. But have you ever considered that maybe there might be a business out there that's perfect for you on the market right now? So today, I want to help you decide what is the best path for you. Should you start a business or should you buy a business? Hi, I'm Clara Peterloo, business broker with Larkspur Business Brokers, and I'd like to welcome you to Mountain Town. So today in our little case study here in Mountain Town, we're going to review a startup restaurant called Kelly's Restaurant versus buying Mountain Town Diner. Starting a business is exhilarating. You are building the foundations for your future. You're building the foundations for your business to grow. You've put the time and energy into creating a beautiful concept. You've put the time and energy into creating a wonderful menu, how you're going to engage your customers, who your customers are. Those are some of the amazing benefits of starting your own business, having complete control to build a business from the ground up. One of the biggest cons of starting a business is that nobody knows you. Who are you? Why am I going to come and eat at your restaurant? Why should I care? Getting people into your doors is called customer acquisition, and customer acquisition has a cost. It takes quite a few years before you're in the black, before you have a positive cash flow. You have to project out 2, 3, and 5 years. Another challenge that all business owners face is putting together your dream team. Oh, anybody who's ever worked at a restaurant knows that finding a great, solid team is more challenging than you might think. Listed right now on the market is Mountain Town Diner. It's been opened for the last 5 years and generates approximately $1 million in annual sales. You can buy a restaurant that's already generating those sales. Imagine walking into your first day of business and you're actually having a $1,000 or a $2,000 day. Buying a business also has a wonderful benefit of walking into an existing staff. A staff that has been with the business for several months or possibly several years. They have relationships built with their customers. They know who their customers are, and they are a tremendous asset to help you steer the ship. Another really big benefit of buying an existing restaurant is there's just less risk. You're walking into a restaurant that is established in an established niche, generating sales. That immediately makes it less risky. It also makes it less risky to a lender. When a lender looks at a restaurant, they're going to see that it's been open for 5 years and has been generating amazing sales for the past 5 years. And that's to your benefit when you go to seek financing for your business. Another really amazing benefit is at the end of the day, it just costs less money to buy a restaurant. Buying a business has a ton of pros, but this wouldn't be a fair case study unless I reviewed some of the cons. Some of the cons of buying the business is that you are buying something that has problems, inherent problems, and it's up to you to do your due diligence to be able to identify exactly what those problems are and how you can fix them. Another con of buying a business is that sometimes you walk into an uncooperative staff. They may or may not welcome you and accept you as the new owner. Sometimes the risk is also perhaps their equipment is old, rusted out, leaking oil. Maybe once you get into the business, you realize that there's some other underlying problems with the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that you didn't necessarily spot right off the bat. You don't want to have any capital expenditures when you're buying a business. You want to buy a business and immediately start generating sales. You don't want to buy a business and then have to invest $100,000 in equipment. So do your due diligence, make sure the furniture, fixtures, and equipment is all in proper working order and has been well maintained. All right, you are ready to start your restaurant, Kelly's Restaurant. Let's look at a sample of what to expect just to get your doors open. You found a really great location, but let's say that the location has never had a restaurant in it before. Your opening expenses now have to factor in doing a lot of leasehold improvements. It is estimated that the median cost to open a restaurant is $3,046 per seat. So if you're going to be opening a restaurant with 100 seats, it would be fair to estimate approximately $305,000 to get started. In my opinion, from having seen many restaurants, that figure is actually quite low. Well, for today's case study, to open Kelly's Restaurant, it's going to cost you a whopping $450,000. Great, so now you've spent the $450,000. Kelly's restaurant is open for business. You distributed your marketing material. You got in touch with the local paper, the local radio station. You're doing a big promo for your launch. Wonderful. Generally, in the first year of business, most restaurants make between $100,000 to $150,000 in their first year of revenue. Industry average for full-service restaurants in Canada shows that a net profit is 6.6%. So after your first year, you generated $250,000. That would mean that in your first year, your net profit was $16,500. Year two, you gotta go for the double. You wanna double up year over year. So year two, you're successful in doubling up and you attain $500,000 in gross annual sales. Year two was an amazing year and you netted 6.6% profit on par with industry average. That would mean that you generated $33,000 in profits on the second year of business. Now we're gonna go for another double in year three. Year three, you double up again and you get to $1 million in annual sales. Now this is the apex for all businesses that are brick and mortar and have a street location. You need to be hitting $1 million in annual sales. So you did it. Year three, $1 million in annual sales, amazing. You netted $66,000. After being in business for 3 years, you have generated $115,500 in net profits. Now remember, you invested that $450,000 3 years ago just to get the doors open. Now your debt load has been reduced to $334,500 after 3 years. At this pace, most restaurants pay themselves off in approximately 8 to 10 years. Let's look at our case study, Mountain Town Diner, that's currently listed for sale, and compare it over a startup. They are generating $1 million in annual sales, and on average, a restaurant sells for between 30 and 40% of annual sales. So we're gonna say that Mountain Town Diner is actually listed for $300,000. Now, for $300,000, you're walking into a defined concept, you're walking into a customer base, you're walking into a known brand, the locals know it, the tourists that come back year after year are familiar with it. So you're gonna buy this restaurant for $300,000. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not. You find out on your due diligence that there is gonna be some small repairs and some maintenance costs associated with buying it. So let's say your purchase price is $300,000. You now have an additional $10,000 to make some small repairs and possibly replace some small appliances. So you decide to make the purchase. Good for you. You made the right choice buying this business. Does it have problems? Of course it does. But you know that these are all problems that you could fix. In your first year of business, you still succeed in reaching $1 million in annual sales. Now, at the 6.6% net, you should be at approximately $66,000 in net on your first year of business. So you're doing really well cruising along through year 2 and year 3 of Mountain Town Diner. How long is it going to take you to pay off this restaurant? You invested $310,000 of your own money, and at $66,000 a year in debt reservicing, you would have the business paid off in half the time, 5 to 5.2 years, versus a 10-year payoff period for a startup. Buying a business, you're buying your success. You're buying that sweat equity. You're buying furniture, fixtures, and equipment at pennies on the dollar. You're buying a fully functioning restaurant that's vibrant and ready to go, and it's going to be underneath your command. You're going to be the one steering the ship. You're going to be the captain. So even though the restaurant might not have been everything that you had envisioned for your startup, you can start to slowly implement your vision throughout the years as you get to know who your customers are and what they want. I hope after looking at this case study that you too see the benefits of buying a business. Have a look, see what businesses are out there, what's already for sale. So you can check out my business listings on larkspurbusiness.ca. And I'd really encourage you to throw some comments down below. I want to know what your questions are, what you're thinking with regards to a startup versus buying a business. Please put those comments down below and I'll be sure to respond to them.